Lesson 18, Multiplying Monomials. To multiply two monomials, multiply the coefficients and add the exponents that have the same base. Remember, the coefficients are the number in front of the variables, and that the bases have to be the same in order to add the exponents. For example, 3a squared times 4a to the fifth. If we group common terms, we're going to end up with 3 times 4 times a squared times a to the fifth. So when we multiply our coefficients, we get 3 times 4, which is 12, and then we can add the exponents since the bases are the same. So it'll be 12 times a to the 2 plus 5. 2 plus 5 is 7, so my answer is 12a to the 7th power. Example 1. Multiply 4x squared y to the third times 5xy to the fifth. Group the common terms, so we should get 4 times 5 times x squared times x times y to the third times y to the fifth. Remember that the exponent for the x is 1, so I'm going to rewrite that just so I don't make any silly mistakes. 4 times 5 times x squared times x to the first times y to the third times y to the fifth. When I multiply the coefficients, I get 4 times 5, which is 20, times x to the 2 plus 1, because they have common bases, and y to the 3 plus 5. 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 5 is 8, so after I add the exponents, I get 20x to the third, y to the eighth. Example 2. Multiply negative 3p squared r times 6p r to the third s. So when I group common terms, I get negative 3 times 6 times p squared times p times r to the third times s. Remember that the p and r have exponents of 1, so I'm going to add that in and rewrite it. So it's negative 3 times 6 times p squared times p to the first times r to the first times r to the third times s. When I multiply the coefficients, I get negative 3 times 6, which is 18, negative 18, because a negative times a positive is a negative. So I get negative 18 times p to the 2 plus 1, because they're common bases, times r to the 1 plus 3, times s. When I add my exponents, I end up with negative 18 p to the third, r to the fourth, s. To raise a monomial to a power, you must first understand how to find the power of a product. Notice what happens to the exponents when you find a power of a product. For example, xy raised to the third power, which is equal to, in expanded form, xy times xy times xy. Notice that what's in the parentheses is repeated 3 times since the exponent is to the third power. And then it's equal to, when we group them, x times x times x times y times y times y. And we count up the x's, 1, 2, 3, count up the y's, 1, 2, 3, and I get x to the third equal x to the third y to the third. Notice how the exponent raised to a power times the original exponent gets you your final exponent. So what's the exponent for the x? It's 1, and it's raised to the third power. So 1 times 3 is 3. What's the exponent for the y? 1. What's it raised to the third power? 1 times 3 is 3. So that's why we get the answer x to the third, y to the third. Example 3. Simplify 3y raised to the third power. If we write in an expanded form, we get 3y times 3y times 3y. If we group common terms, we end up with 3 times 3 times 3 times y times y times y. If we multiply the coefficients, we get 3 times 3, which is 9, 9 times 3, which is 27. So I get 27 to the y plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And our answer, after we add the exponents, is 27y to the third. Example 4. Simplify 2a squared b to the 6th raised to the power of 3. So if I expand it, I get 2a squared b to the 6th times 2a squared b to the 6th times 2a squared b to the 6th. So what's in the parentheses is repeated 3 times. If I group my common terms, I get 2 times 2 times 2 times a squared times a squared times a squared times b to the 6th times b to the 6th times b to the 6th. I multiply my coefficients. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And then I could add the exponents, which is a to the 2 plus 2 plus 2, b to the 6 plus 6 plus 6. And when I add my exponents, I get 8a to the 6th, b to the 18th. Sentence frame, multiplying monomials. When multiplying monomials like blank and blank, in those first 2 blanks, you're going to make up your own problem. You must multiply the blank, and that should be a word, and then blank the blank of the variables. Right. Your solution should be blank. So in the 4th and 5th blank should be 2 words that will help you complete it, and then the 6th blank should be the solution to your answer. So again, in the first 2 blanks should be your problem, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th should be words, and then the last one should be a solution to your answer.